Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thank you for stopping by. Obviously, I'm in a weird location right now, and I'm feeling kind of cool. Like model-esque hanging out in the doorway here. What do you think? Actually, the reason why I'm in a weird location is because of my lens. I have to be kind of further away from it to be in full frame, and so I'm kind of standing about 5 feet away from my camera. And this is as much as me as you can see 5 feet away because of the type of lens I'm using. Anyway, that's the story behind that. Let's stick into it. Now is a good time as ever to kind of go back to basics and show you how I clean my makeup brushes. Now, I do a 2-step process. I remove all pigment and product, any emollients and things like that from the brush themselves, and then I disinfect them because I have worked as a makeup artist for several years. As much as I would love to think that just simply cleaning your brushes using soap and water is enough to disinfect them, it's not. I do take that extra step and use a 91% alcohol as I'm cleaning. Now, with 91% alcohol, you do have to be careful to use it sparingly as to not dry out your brushes, especially if you have natural fiber or natural hair brushes. This one is a natural hair brush, so it's a little splayed, so I'm going to be very careful not to use too much alcohol with this. And also with 91%, you don't need to use something that strong. That's just what I have. I bought a giant thing of it. You can use a lower percentage of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, but just note that if you do use a higher percentage, you want to use little amounts at a time because it can evaporate pretty quickly. So then it kind of depletes the purpose of the whole sanitization or disinfectant purpose. Be sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. I am trying my hardest to upload 3 times a week. Right now it's about Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And leave me a comment if there's any other back to basics kind of makeup videos you would like to see. Perhaps more on the professional side, on hygiene, or I don't know, just whatever your imagination comes up with. So I have a ton of my makeup brushes here, and we're going to go ahead and go to the sink and start. Alright, to get started, don't mind my ugly background. To get started, I'm just showing you really quickly what I'm using here, my little setup. I'm using baby shampoo. I find that this works really well on some of my really delicate brushes. And then here's my 91% isopropyl alcohol, if it will ever focus. Focus. Thank you. You're so kind. I like using little pads like this because it has the different textures. It can help remove some of the emollients and oils and things like that from brushes. Helps break it up. This one has a nice little sleeve for your hand so you can hold on to it. It's not necessary to have something like this, but I definitely recommend it. If you have sponges or anything like that you want to clean, you can use the cleaner balm with the same little pad on it, like this. It's up to you on what you want to use. Just use a gentle cleanser. I wouldn't use antibacterial soap for this because it can be really harsh. I think it will be harsh enough with the alcohol. If you use it in a small amount, it's not going to be harmful for your brushes, whereas antibacterial soaps can be. They're very harsh chemicals. And finally, I have just an old beat up white towel just laying out on the counter here. And the reason why I'm using white is because it helps me to see if my brushes are clean enough. So once I'm done, cleansing them on this thing, I'll wipe them on the brush just to make sure all that other pigmentation is out. If it's not, then I'll just go back through with this. And yeah. Oh, and also, this is an added step. If you are a makeup artist and you do makeup on other people, sometimes it can be kind of gross to clean out those eye brushes. You can always use some sort of disposable gloves like this to clean your brushes. Alright, let's get started. So what I'll do is I'll turn the water on and get it onto a pretty warm temperature. Nothing too hot because I don't want to dry out the brushes, but warm enough that I would wash dishes in this kind of temperature. Get any dust out of there. Then I'll add a little bit of the cleanser, not too much. Add a little bit of water and then start cleaning my brush. You see how this just lifts out that pigment? It's wonderful. Depending on how dirty my brushes are, I might scrub them for about 10 to 15 seconds. But if they're exceptionally dirty, it might take up to a minute of scrubbing just to make sure I get all the pigment and oils and product out of the brush. And you can see here that this was a really dirty brush.
Then I'll rinse out the pad just to make sure I don't have any contaminating pigments for the next step. I also make sure to rinse off the brush really well to get all that pigment out. Then I quickly run it on the towel just to see if there's any excess pigment coming off the brush. If there is extra pigment, then I'll just wash it a second time. If not, then I'll go to step 2, which is to disinfect. So I take whatever's left of the cleanser and add some water and alcohol, and then I run my brush through there for about 10 seconds or so, depending on the size of the brush. Then I rinse it really well again, and making sure I rub off the ferrule, the handle, just to clean everything off. And then I wipe it down really well with the towel to dry it and to ensure that I have all of the makeup and product off of the brush.
I'm going to lay it flat on the towel just like this. You don't want to lay it upright or downward because you don't want any liquid to go into the ferrule and loosen up any of the adhesive or glue. And then you also don't want it to end up in your brush hairs because that could destroy them too. So laying it flat like so is a great way to let them air dry.
When I have a lot of makeup brushes to clean, especially after a job, it's actually really efficient to do one step at a time with multiple brushes. So I start with cleansing all of them and just leaving them in the sink. And then I'll go through and rinse them off one by one.
Sometimes your brushes will not be clean in the first pass. So just repeat that cleansing step with your cleanser, some hot water. Then once all of your brushes are cleansed, rinse them off. Rinse them off and make sure you wipe down the ferrule and the handles really well. Now to disinfect. I'm using the pad with the same cleanser in it. I'm not going to empty it out. I'm just going to pop in some rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to take every single brush and just kind of do a quick rub through. Now you have to be really quick with this because this alcohol will evaporate pretty quickly. But you can do a large number of brushes all at once to make it fast, easy, and efficient. Then you dump it, rinse it. You rinse your brushes one last time. Kind of squeeze dry all of the bristles. And then you're going to hand dry them. Make sure you wipe off every single part of your brush, from the handle and the ferrule to the bristles, of course. And then lay it flat to dry just like that. Okay, so I have some final tips on how to make sure your brushes stay clean, or at least to be as sanitary as possible with your brushes. My suggestion is to take any brush that you've used, even if it's just to apply a little powder, brush off powder, you always separate those brushes from your clean brushes. So you take your clean brushes and keep them in whatever storage you have, but you always have some sort of container to keep your dirty brushes. Even if you use my trick, which I'll do in another video, on how to keep your brushes clean day to day without having to do a deep cleaning, you still want to store them in something like this. The reason for that is to prevent cross-contamination, and in case you get sick, you know, if one day you realize that you're not feeling well and then the next day you're like, oh shoot, I just contaminated all my brushes. That prevents that. I also recommend once your dirty brush container is empty, you throw that in the dishwasher if you can. If not, you just wash it, hand wash it, make sure you can sterilize it, and you're set for the next time. Yeah, so this is how I deep clean all of my brushes if I'm doing makeup for other people, and then also my own brushes, because I know that it works. It's a two-step process, but it's super fast, super quick and easy. If you just run through it, you can do all of your brushes in one fell swoop. And then if you make sure you dry them off really well before you lay them out, they should dry overnight, no problem. So yeah, my hope was that this video was helpful for you guys. Give you some tips on how to stay sanitary with, whoa, as I'm about to fall over. Balancing on one foot is probably not a good idea when I'm trying to film because I'm accident prone. Anyway, again, be sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm posting 3 times a week, as I said before, which feels like a lot, but I love it. And click that notification bell. Share this with your friends. Please, let's make this viral. Well, let me reword that. Let's make this, let's just share this, because we don't want to share viruses, right? That was That was not the pun I was hoping to go for today. So be sure to share this video with your friends, your family, or any makeup enthusiast that you absolutely think could benefit from this video. And leave me a comment below if there's any other videos you would like to see. Anyway, take care, guys. Stay well, stay healthy, wash your hands, stay home, please, for the love of God, please stay home, okay? All right, stay electric. Bye.